YouTube, what up? It's your guy, the Authentic Man, aka Godsonken. I'm going to make this video as kind of another brief introduction to who I am because during this topic just came up, and I think this is a good time maybe to reintroduce myself. And then I'm also going to be going ahead and giving my opinion, because that's ultimately what it is. It's just my opinion, just based in reality and what I've seen and things and the arguments that I've seen and the facts and stuff that I've seen on this subject. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the stuff. All right, so once again, um, my name is Kenny. You call me Kenny. I go under the alias Godson Ken. Went under the ref actually for a little bit when I was doing more of my gaming stuff. Then I switched it over to Godson Ken, and then I've kind of finally settled on the Authentic Man. And the reason why I like the Authentic Man is because I pride myself on being just that authentic. What you're gonna get from, how you're gonna get from me on this camera is the same way that I am in life. I don't like to. Um, I don't want to be one of these people to where uh, I say something on cam or I say something online, but offline I'm a little bit different. The way that I live my life is I want to tell you how I feel, and how I feel is what I'm going to tell you. Um, I'm not here to say that I know everything. I can't know everything. I've learned that I have to live my life in a way that is humble enough to be accepting of new ideas and humble enough to be accepting that I can be wrong. And I understand that I can be wrong. And so, again, this is why I um, do these back and forth online. And there's also that thing. I mean, I do enjoy the intelligent battle. I do enjoy the debate and everything like that. But ultimately, what I enjoy is learning new information, taking in new information, taking in new ideas, taking in new perspectives, and everything like that. And if a perspective is great enough and everything like that, it'll sit with me. And sometimes it changes my mind. It's definitely been the case over. Um, it's definitely been the case really over about the last year or so, or really several years or so. So, anyway, though, a little bit more about myself. So, I was born and raised in Springfield, Illinois, a small to medium sized city, about population about 120, 125,000 when I was growing up. It was definitely less than that, but it's grown over the years. Springfield, Illinois, for those who do not know. So it is literally pretty much centered right between Chicago, Illinois, and St. Louis, Missouri. So if you guys are from the St. Louis area, to get to Springfield, you pretty much take I-55. 55 would take you directly through Springfield and then take you eventually up into Chicago. Same thing for Chicago. My upbringing, I have, let me see, it's going to sound crazy. I do this I'm doing my hand. So I have 7 sisters and 3 brothers. Just my mom. Okay. And then on my dad's side, I still don't really know my father's side of the family too much. I just know on my dad's side, I would be considered the baby boy. On there, I do have older brothers, but I just never really had a chance to meet them. Um, Based on what I just said, hopefully you guys can come to the conclusion that my upbringing was definitely anything far from what I would consider normal. It was definitely sort of a chaotic upbringing. I grew up in pretty much in the foster care system. Um, I was pretty much in the foster care system from the time I was in elementary school, quite literally until the day I graduated high school. I stayed in several different families, and this is where this is how I uh, this is where I think I got a lot of how I am in my personality and being able to adapt to different people, but also being able to um, understand that not everybody does everything the same way. And then there's not necessarily a right way for everybody. Everybody has different pathways and stuff. There are just certain things that um, can universally align to say, okay, if you go this direction or do this certain thing, uh, this is the likelihood of this outcome happening and everything like that. Okay. All right. I think that's good enough there. Oh, a little bit more about myself. So, outside of Springfield, I once got done going to school. I did go to college. I went to college up at NIU, up in DeKalb, Illinois. I did not graduate to get a 4 year degree. I did graduate with my 2 year degree, but it was mainly in just like a communications thing, but it's nothing necessarily major. Um, I then while I was in high school, I met a girl. I was with that girl from the time that I was 16 all the way until I was 27. We do have 2 children together. Um, long story short, uh, long story short, she left the relationship, um, and eventually stuff happened with the kids to where I was able to get the kids. So now I have custody of my 2 children, and so I do the whole single dad thing and everything like that. Um, Other areas that I've lived in, as far as what's contributed to how I uh, think and everything. I lived in, obviously, I lived up there in the Chicago area for a little bit, for the college years and stuff like that. I lived in Rockford for a little bit, and then I lived in Seattle on and off for about a decade as well. I lived in Seattle on and off for the time I was about 22 until pretty much until I turned 30, about 30, 31. So about a couple of years ago. I'll be 33 this year in August. I'm obviously 32 right now. Okay, so that's pretty much a quick rundown of who I am and everything like that. So you can at least kind of uh, get a sense for who I am and what I do and everything like that. Um, all right, so again, I'm basically going to be making this video not only to give an introduction to myself, but also to go ahead and give a video response to this question that was asked. Well, not really asked, but it was a statement that I made, and it was a statement that's basically I've been challenged on. I've been challenged on by Miss K. So I always invite the challenge and everything like that. And I always appreciate the dialogue. So even in this, I appreciate the dialogue. I appreciate being a part of the Lapeef Network Facebook group and being a part of some of the Lapeef Network live streams that they do. Definitely appreciate that, and I'm always gonna, give a shout out to the people who give me an opportunity to express my opinion because I value that. So, pretty much what you said is, pretty much what you said is, she was just questioning the thing that I said about that black people have the same amount of opportunities today in 2022, have the same amount, if not more, opportunities than white people in America in 2022. Again, I'm just reiterating that I'm talking about 2022. I also want to make sure to clarify this. When I say opportunity, I'm talking about economic opportunities. I'm talking about opportunities to be able to make yourself wealthy, to be able to get yourself out of poverty, to be able to get yourself out of situations and everything like that. I am not talking about opportunities. Uh, I'm not necessarily talking about opportunities of education, even though I would still argue, even there, um, black people have the same amount of opportunities. Uh, and I'm just gonna, I might as well get into this now. A lot of the answers and a lot of the disagreement have been a lot of strawman arguments. Instead of them focusing on the opportunity of whether it's available or not, we're focusing on the difficulty it is to attain said opportunity, or the difficulty it is to attain said thing. And that's simply not what I'm arguing. When we're talking about opportunity, and I'm going to give you the definition of opportunity according to the Oxford Dictionary. Hold on. So you guys can type this in Google, because this is literally where I'm getting it from. It says opportunity, a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. A set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. That is the definition of opportunity. Okay? That is the definition of opportunity, and that is how I understand opportunity. Um, Especially in relation to the economy side of it, the money side of it, the ability to grow organically side of it. That is what I am focusing on. So again, I'm going to read this definition for the last time, and if you don't necessarily trust me, be like what they used to say in Reading Rainbow, don't take my word for it. You can type it in Google yourself. Opportunity is a noun, a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something, a chance for employment or promotion. That is opportunity. Okay? So let's go to some of the rebuttals that I have gotten. Okay, so some of the rebuttals that I've gotten are, let me see here. There weren't a whole lot of them. It was just them trying to point me to examples of disparities. But again, I'm not talking about the disparities and difficulty. I'm talking about opportunity. So I'm looking for a direct. Okay, here we go. So here's one right here. So I got a comment from Mr. James that says blacks tend to live in areas with subpar education by design. The justice system has been proven to be unfair to us. We're preyed upon more by the economic system. The list goes on. All proven and admitted to by white America. All that said, we have plenty of opportunities, but we're far from having equal or greater opportunity to be successful. I believe we can't focus on any lack or opportunity. We can work hard to achieve whatever we want. The world doesn't accept any excuses. And I agree with that last part. The world does not accept any excuses because the world does not owe you any type of understanding. Okay? But I want to dive into this. Real quick. Blacks tend to be born in subpar places with education is not the same thing as blacks being born in places to where education is simply not available. As a black person, especially in 2022, you literally have devices to where you can gain knowledge at your fingertips. Pretty much anything that you want to learn as far, especially when it comes to things that'll help you advance in employment, advance in growing a business, advance in learning how to do something or increase your skill set and stuff like that can quite literally be looked up on YouTube and how to learn. Even if you cannot look that, even if you don't know how to look that stuff up on YouTube, or you don't necessarily trust the source that you're getting it from YouTube, you can always go down to your local library, pick up a book, and read and learn stuff. There is nothing in 2022. There are no laws that are preventing us from learning. Okay, and again, this is like that's why I say this stuff is a straw man argument. People are arguing the disparity. People are arguing the degree of difficulty of doing something, but the degree of difficulty of doing something is the same thing as what can or cannot be done. Okay, let me give you an example. I don't know if you guys play video games or not, but again, I'm a very big video game fanatic. Okay, if I bring up a video game and I say that in order to achieve and beat this video game, you must get from, let's say, this side of the level to the end of this level over here. And then I put up a big old wall to where it's quite literally impossible to get to the other side to where you can finish the game. To me, that's okay. There's no opportunity to get there because there's literally a wall and a barrier to get there. That is different from saying that, okay, this is very difficult. So let's say if I don't put up that wall there, but I put in all of these obstacles and everything on this course and everything like that. And I say that if you're a dark-skinned person, your course is going to be a lot harder than the white person or light-skinned person, whatever you want to call it, all right? Even though your course is a lot harder or more difficult more difficult than the light-skinned person, that doesn't mean that the course cannot be completed. That doesn't mean that you cannot get to the end of the course. That doesn't mean that the opportunity to complete that game and finish that level and move on to the next level isn't there. That just means it's more difficult, and I am not arguing that. And that's pretty much, these are pretty much the things that I have been seeing, or the arguments that I have been seeing when it comes to this. I quite literally asked for, and I still haven't gotten, and I think Kay pretty much admitted that there were no laws against it. I pretty much asked for, okay, what are the federal or state laws that says that a black person cannot do this because they are black? Or a person cannot do this. A person cannot gain access to this because they are black. And in 2022, you cannot, there are none. There are none. Those have quite literally been outlawed. That was outlawed with the Civil Rights Act of 1965, if I'm remembering correctly, whatever. Those were outlawed. However, in this example, in this little Facebook back and forth that I had, literally one of the first things that I posted was the, hold on, I'll go back and look at it real quick. One of the first things that I posted was the requirements for minority/women-owned business grants and enterprises. And quite literally, one of the to be a part of that qualifier minority group, you need to be Black, Native American, Latino or Hispanic, Pacific Asians, and subcontinent Asians. That means that even if you're a poor white person living in a trailer, it don't matter. The fact that you're white, you don't qualify for these grants no longer. This is literally sanctioned by federal law, state law. This is literally sanctioned by federal law, state law. Now, I understand the argument for that is going to be like, well, they're white, so they have white privilege, so they should be able to do this. So they should be able to capitalize on their white privilege or whatever, right? But once again, that's not the argument. We're not arguing whether they know or don't know about whatever privilege it is that they supposedly have or whatever. Again, I'm not saying that they do or they don't. That's just simply not the argument. What I'm saying, though, is that that opportunity right there is quite literally barred for them, and it's quite literally barred from them on something that they quite literally could not control. They don't control what color they are when they're literally being created inside of the womb. They don't control that. They don't have no control over that. Does that make sense? And that's what I'm talking about when I say I can make an argument that, again, as a white person, you have less opportunities than you do as a Black person in 2022. I can make that argument. That's not what I'm necessarily saying, because, again, if you want to bring up stuff, then bring up the stuff. I'm sure somebody can find something, but I'm just pointing that out as an example. And the whole point of this really And like I said, I don't really like when people focus on that instead of focusing on what the overall point is that in 2022, as a Black American, you can do anything that you set your mind to, especially when it comes to this business stuff, especially when it comes to employment, especially when it comes to making sure that you can prosper in this capitalistic society. You can do what it is that you want to do legally do what it is that you want to do. You can legally do what it is that you want to do. I'm not saying that what you want to do is necessarily going to be easy to achieve. I'm not necessarily saying that there aren't other people out there that are going to have an easier route to achieve the same thing that you want to achieve. But what I'm saying is that it can be achieved and it can be done. There was an example that was brought up where they used the NFL, and I think they were trying to use the whole the coaching disparity to try to say that well, these owners aren't hiring Black coaches, or these owners aren't doing this, or these owners aren't doing that. And then when you say, well, there's quite literally a Black coach that's an owner, not an owner, there's quite literally Black head coaches right now in the NFL. They say, well, we're underrepresented. We're underrepresented, right? Again, being underrepresented is the same thing as saying that the opportunity isn't there. But okay, let's go with that argument. Let's go with that logic. So then let's flip it back to the NBA and say right now, like 74 or 75% of the NBA players are Black. As a white person, you can then come back and use that same logic to say, well, we're underrepresented in the NBA because there's way more Black people. Where are the other white people? We feel like we're being discriminated against, and we're not being given the opportunity to be in the NBA. But we already know white people aren't going to say that, and we already know if a white person says that, they're going to get a heavy backlash. Because the first thing that's going to be brought up is that, no, these Black NBA players are just simply better. They're simply better, and that's what it is. It's the same thing that's happening over there, guys. They're simply, in the large, vast majority of the cases, if you are not being selected for an opportunity, the person that was selected was simply better. The person that was selected was simply better. This isn't also to say that there isn't bias in the system. I am not arguing that. I do agree there is bias in the system, but that's everywhere on all sides of the spectrum, whether you're Asian, white, Black, Latino, Indian, or whatever. All of these races have a bias towards themselves. That's just natural human uh, uh, thought process, human nature. That's the word I'm looking for. Sorry. That's just natural human nature. But that is not the same as saying that that opportunity isn't there. Because at the end of the day, we live in a capitalist society. And the main thing that these people care about is green. They don't care about red. They don't care about Black. They don't care about blue. They don't care about yellow. They kind of care about blue. Now they got blue faces and stuff. But they care about green. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I think y'all understand what I'm saying. They care about money. They care about money. And regardless of what your skin color is, if you are able to show that you're going to be a valuable asset to this whatever business or whatever, they are going to pick you up. They're not going to pass up on that money. They're not going to pass up on that money because you're this. They're not going to pass up on that money, especially not in 2022. Nope. As a matter of fact, in 2022, there's a good opportunity that as a black person, you will get picked up. Because right now, being black is a thing. Being black is the thing. Being a corporation and being a company that shows that you're a diverse company and that you got a black person working, that's the thing. That's why I said I can make an argument that you are having people who are less qualified being hired because they look a certain way. I can make that strong argument. Matter of fact, this whole thing with the Supreme Court stuff, where Biden is like, one of the qualifications for this Supreme Court seat is it needs to be a black woman. Now you're automatically saying that regardless of if this person actually qualifies for the position or not, or if there's a better quality candidate, that better quality candidate is not going to be hired or even looked at because they don't fit the qualifications of being black and being a woman. Do you not see the issue with that? That's an opportunity being lost. You quite literally just said, well, you don't meet these qualifications, I'm not even going to hire you for that. And you said that publicly, out loud. Now people can make that true valid argument that you're creating a true discrimination. You're doing discriminatory practices. The same discriminatory practices that were supposed to be outlawed with the Civil Rights Act. See, that's what I'm talking about. But focusing on us as black people, look guys, I just will never submit to the idea that there are opportunities that I can't get because of the skin color. I will always say that if I'm unable to get something, or if I'm unable to achieve something, or if I didn't get selected for this work or whatever, I will look back at me and my actions. I won't look at my skin color as an excuse and use this whole victim mentality type of thing to say I just can't get this. No, I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to work on my skill, and I'm going to work on what I can do to improve and do better. And again, this is what's so crazy. If you don't like, especially in this capitalist society, because that's all they care about is money, but if you don't like the way that white people are running the system, then create your own. Create your own. And if you're not out here creating your own, or you're not out here figuring out how to create your own, or getting the necessary information and knowledge to create your own, you have no excuse to complain, because you're not even out here trying to do the work that it takes. You're out here complaining about saying that there aren't no opportunities available, but you're not even doing the work. You're not even doing the work to take advantage of the opportunity. So of course it's not available to you. You don't qualify for it. See, that's the thing, man. We think that, I can say we, but there's a lot of black people that think that being black should make up for their lack of qualifications for what the job requires, and that's just not how the world works, man. Remember, I told y'all, I grew up in a foster home, right? Well, several foster homes, right? But there was one foster home in particular that I'll never forget, one foster dad that I'll never forget. This is the guy who left a lasting impression on me growing up, in the few real males that I had growing up. His name was Mr. Lavelle Liddell. Lee, that's what we called him. Lavelle Lee Liddell, right? And there's something that he used to say that has always stuck with me, right? And this was a very successful guy, especially for Springfield, Illinois. A very successful black man, let me be more specific. And when he told me this, he must have been about 56, 57 when he told me this, all right? He used to say, Kenny, there are three types of people in this world. People who want something for nothing, people who want something for a little bit of nothing, and people who are going to go out and work and get exactly what they want. And he used to repeatedly tell me that. Repeatedly tell me that. It didn't really, it made sense to me at the time, but I didn't really internalize it until I became an adult and started getting out here in this workforce and looking to my left and looking to my right and seeing that, god damn, there are a lot of lazy people out here that are just not willing to put in the work. There are a lot of lazy people out here that are simply wanting to try to come up quick, wanting to try to get something for nothing or something for a little bit of nothing. And that is simply not how this works, especially in this capitalistic society where everything is driven by profit. You need to be a profitable, and in a capitalistic society, when it comes to the economic side of things, you need to be the most profitable person you can be. And you need to try to make yourself the most profitable person. The most profitable person, the most valuable person will always have it. They will always have opportunities. They will never complain that there aren't any opportunities. They will never complain that there aren't any opportunities for them. They will never use that whole crutch that they can't do something because of the color of their skin. Why? Because the demand for those people are always way up here. A person that is is a auto technician, or knows a little bit about auto technician, a person that knows a little bit about how to manage people, a person that knows a little bit about marketing, a person that knows about a little bit about digital marketing, a person that knows a little bit about PHP, C++, HTML, a person that knows a little bit about Python, a person that knows a little bit about architect, a person that knows a little bit about bioengineering, a person that knows a little bit about molecular engineering or chemical engineering. These people are in demand, and it doesn't matter whether you're black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever. These companies that need these people to be profitable, they don't give a fuck if you're black. They don't give a fuck if you're black, really. But in today's day, they will look at you with a favorability if you're black and you have these things, because it looks favorable upon them. And if it looks favorable upon them, and if it looks like it's going to increase their profit margin, they're going to take it. And then again, in today's market, black is the goddamn thing. Black and gay. Wow, I don't want to get, I don't want to get banned. Shit. Oop, I edit that one out. Black and LGBT plus. LGBTQ plus. I think that's the right acronym these days. But y'all get what I'm saying, right? These things are in. These are the things. These are hot. These are hot commodity items, my G. It is what it is. Being black is a hot commodity item. Better take advantage of that shit. Especially in 2022, because being black back in 1965 wasn't all that hot commodity, but it's all a hot commodity now. So why the hell are you complaining as a black man or black woman saying that you can't do something, man? I just don't get that one, man. Oh, I got another story. We got time real quick. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Another thing that, this is just me running down memory lane real quick. One other thing that when I was living with Mr. Liddell is he was the first person to really instill into me that how important schooling was, right? And he actually was the first and only foster parent that I had that actually used to pay me to get good grades. Something that he said he didn't even pay his own biological kids because he just expected them to get it because that's what they were supposed to do. But he said since he didn't necessarily want me to work, he just wanted me to focus on getting my schoolwork done. He didn't want me to focus on wanting to get money, get a job and stuff. He was like, you know what? I will pay you just to make sure that your grades and stuff are good and everything like that. So here's what he used to do. It used to be an incentive type of program. A's were worth $20. This is back in 2002, 2003, right? Back when I was junior high. A's were worth $20. B's were worth $10. C's would cut all money in half. D's would cancel all money with no. C's would cut all money in half with minor consequences. D's would cut all money out, period, with severe consequences. And F's would cut all money, period, with extreme consequences. This is what they call them, consequences. You never called it punishment. I said this guy's a very intellectual person, because the way he described it, this is a kind of a sidebar from that. The way he described it is he never called it a punishment. He always talked in scientific terms, and he was talking about for every action there's a reaction. So if you do this, you get this. So if you do this, this is the consequence of what's going to happen. And he always brought it back to us. He's not punishing us. This is just a consequence for the things that we're doing, right? That's just how it's written down. These are the consequences, right? And in his grading system, the reason why C would cut stuff in half is because this is what he told me. As a black man in America, you can't be average. This grading scale that you have on right here, this is based on them. You understand what I'm talking about? Them. They are allowed to be average. You cannot be average. You have to be above average or excellent. And C's to him were just dressed up D's. If you were going to be average, you basically might as well say you're below average, because that's just simply the nature of how the game works when it comes to this capitalistic society. But he never ever said that the opportunity wasn't there. He always instilled and drilled that the opportunity is there. It's just might be a little bit more difficult for you, but it's still there. So with that said, this is the Authentic Man, aka Godsonken. I want to thank you guys for watching this. If you watched the full thing through, shout out to the Peace Network Facebook group. Shout out to Kay for having engaged with me back and forth on Facebook. Because again, I appreciate the dialogue. Please make sure to leave a like and a comment for the whole algorithm thing. Then if you got any questions or you got any pushback, send it to me. I always carry my phone on me, so I usually respond. I literally keep that thing on me, man. But other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video and everything like that. And until next time, this is Godsonken, the Authentic Man, signing out. I'll see y'all later.